we will need to go through my brother's papers.
When the burial is settled.
Chukwemeka Okafor died on a Tuesday. He died the way he had lived, quietly, without drama, without giving anyone sufficient warning to prepare. A massive cardiac event, the doctor at Boromayo Hospital said, using the phrase with the careful neutrality of a man who had delivered this particular sentence many times and had learned that precision was a form of kindness. Massive cardiac event. As though Emeka's heart had simply decided, after 53 years of moderate effort, that it had fulfilled its contractual obligations and was exercising its right to terminate. Ngozi was in the press room when it happened. She was standing over the Heidelberg offset machine arguing with their operator, Sunday, about ink density on a consignment of wedding programs due for delivery the following morning. Her phone rang. She ignored it twice. She always ignored calls during a press room argument because the noise made conversation impossible and because she had learned over 15 years that most urgent calls were not actually urgent. On the third ring she stepped outside. It was her husband's driver, Kingsley. His voice had a quality she had never heard in it before, something collapsed and uncertain, and she knew before he finished the first sentence. She drove herself to the hospital. She did not call anyone on the way. She needed the 12 minutes of driving to perform a kind of internal triage to identify what she was feeling, separate it from what she would need to feel later in front of other people, and place each category in its correct location. She was not a cold woman. People who called her cold were people who had confused discipline with absence. She was feeling everything. She was simply feeling it in the right order. At the hospital she identified her husband's body, signed the forms a nurse put in front of her, and sat for 45 minutes in a plastic chair in a corridor that smelled of disinfectant and boiled yam from the canteen downstairs. She sat with her handbag on her lap and her hands folded over it, and she allowed herself, in that corridor, with nobody watching, to grieve with her entire body. She shook. She pressed her lips together until they were white. She said his name once, quietly, into the linoleum-smelling air, and the name came out sounding like a question she had not meant to ask. Then she stood up, smoothed her blouse, and called her sister Ada in a waka. Ada arrived 4 hours later with their mother and a bag of food nobody would eat that night. By that time the compound in Fege was already filling with people, neighbors, church members, the Women's Guild from St. Stephen's, traders from the main market who had done business with Emeka for years. Ngozi received them all. She sat in the parlor in a plain black blouse she had found in the wardrobe, and she accepted hands and condolences and the particular expression, a pressed mouth, slightly tilted head that Igbo mourning protocol requires from visitors, and she gave back the correct